Anything with VU meters has got to be good, right? Let's crack on. Hello and welcome to another MrBetaByte video, and this one's a little bit different insofar as we're looking at a Panasonic AG7350, so 7350. And this one's been sent in for repair by Stuart. Thank you very much, Stuart. Hope all is well with you. And it's just really go through it and make it as good as we can, and hopefully perfect if possible. One issue that he has picked up on is capacitor servo lock tracking when it's cold. But as it warms up, it seems to settle down. So we'll take a look at that. But I'm just trying to think what this machine would have been used for, and I think it is duplication. It is VHS PAL, but it has also got NTSC 4.43. I think that's just playback. It could be wrong, but we'll find out. Like I say, I know nothing about this machine at all, or this model. It's got hi-fi stereo, but it also looks as if it's got linear stereo as well. It's got trick modes, and various queuing up. So potentially, could it be a master machine? I don't know. It seems to my mind, not fit into anything in particular. Just an industrial video recorder. Obviously has got a tuner on it, so yeah, I'm just going to say it's an industrial video recorder. But let me know your thoughts in the comments, and if you've ever seen these in use sort of back in the day as well, what they were used for. You know, it's got sort of a production element to it, but you know, with the facilities it's got, it's obviously for producing professional VHS copies. I mean, maybe that was its role in life, you know, is to sort of do VHS versions for, I don't know, previews or something. I don't know, but yeah. Anyway, let's have a look around the back and take it from there. Yeah, so looking around the back, it does sort of put things a bit more into the duplication side of things, because you've got the RS-232 in and out, so you can daisy chain loads of them to be remotely controlled. So that's quite cool. IEC cold kettle mains lead. Quite a lot of various inputs and outputs. S video. 2 video outs, video in, synchronizing, S video in, audio normal, hi-fi, so both normal and hi-fi, and then just hi-fi. It's quite cool. Audio out, similar sort of thing. Time code, sensor remote in. Not too sure exactly what that would have entailed. Audio monitor out, which is quite useful just for a monitor or something. So yeah, I would put this in a duplication environment, I think. But yeah, it's a pretty, and it's very solid. You know, it's a very solid rack mount machine. So okay, let's power it up and see what it's doing. Okay, cool. Love the display. Nothing in there. It's like the lit eject. No idea what's on this cassette. So it sounds like it's doing a half lace. Not sure it's actually picking up. Like I said, I don't know what's actually on this cassette.
It's not turned on the style of a dinner.
My world does.
Ooh.
How does he know Miss Swire?
What?
Miss
Yeah,
Swire.
so I'm just going to
We're in the
pause
garden,
this
honey.
because last time I used this cassette, I got a copyright strike. So let's just pause that for a second. Interesting, on the camera you can probably see the play and pause are flashing. To the naked eye, it's actually solid on. So it's quite interesting how it's doing that. So I'll grab another cassette and we will resume investigations. Okay, so I'm just rewinding this cassette actually, because I think I'm okay with the beginning of this, but we'll see anyway. But yeah, just sort of take off the sort of security panel then. So you can set what the 1 meter does or displays, so whether it's tracking or just audio. You've got audio monitors, channel mix, channel 1, channel 2 mix, the meter, hi-fi and normal, so you can flick between the two to monitor. You've got line inputs, S video, or line, audio out, normal hi-fi. So yeah, synchronizing, so you can synchronize externally, internally, normal. The kind of TV systems, PAL, CCIR, and 4.43. That's quite cool actually. Sensor record, so triggered from the back. Don't know whether that's similar to Control S with Sony. Maybe. External timer, so you can trigger it to come on, either to play or record depending on how you've configured it and whatever. And then you've got a mode lock which locks the panel, I assume, locks the panel from the buttons being pressed when that's switched on. So that's now rewound. So let's put the on-screen display on as well. So screen display off and on. So yeah, you can see the tracking, and with the tracking, God, it really does swing around, doesn't it? So yeah, it's picked up. It has, or yeah, I mean, picks up. It has hi-fi, but obviously that drops out because of the speed variation. Yeah, so the capstan's running, I would suggest, slow. I'm not listening to the audio, so I'm just making an assumption it's running slow. And it'd be interesting to see if how long it does actually take, and whether it does actually rectify itself. The thing that sort of is a bit of a clue as well, I wonder if it's getting control pulses, because the counter isn't moving forward. It's a real-time counter, so that'll be taking, I'm sure it'll be taking pulses from the control pulses from the ACE head, rather than using spool rotation. Deck of this quality, I would have thought, will be control pulses. So yeah, there's obviously something not quite right there, probably in the that sort of control pulse area, rather than it being capstan, but who knows. Age-wise, I would say this is probably 90s, early-ish 90s, just by looking at it, but of course we'll see. Like I say, I've not done any research on this machine. I've just literally picked it up, put it down, tested it. So yeah, I always think it's quite fun to just be a bit sort of ignorance is bliss. But yeah, that is definitely yeah, because the heads are absolutely fine. If we do a still, it was. Can I? Yeah, I'm guessing. Do I have to turn that on? Yeah. So we've got still tracking here, which is on fix. It's interesting because I think we've just got a lack of control pulses. Just looking at the tracking on even the still. I wouldn't have thought it would do that if it was picking up control pulses. Could be wrong, probably am. But yeah, okay, well, I suppose the next thing would be to take the top off, and let's just have a look at what's inside. Let's crack on. So I've removed the screws. Let's take the top off, and oh, that's nice. Captive screws. Oh, and the grounding as well. That's quite cool. And that one's plastic. So yes, and I probably should have unlaced this so I can take a look at the control head. Like I said, I'm suspecting capacitors rather than the head being bad. But do we have power? Yes, we do. So let's press eject. Have a look at that head. So actually looks very clean. Zoom in. So it looks pretty good. Looks very good, in fact. The whole deck does. I mean, it's all very clean. It's rusted a little bit on the top there. Let's just turn this off. So, quite difficult to accidentally flick this one off as well. So, it's quite cool. Power supply. Looks good. Looks as if it's been recapped, maybe. Wonder if that's what the dots are. Although, I don't know. That one cap there does look as if it might be original, but it's got a black dot on it. I don't know. Might ask Stuart about that, if it's ever been recapped. But yeah, I mean, possibly it's something I might like to do, but we shall see. The rest of it looks really clean. Very clean. It's barely any dust on anything, really. So I'm guessing all of that is signal. And that. Looking at the manual, I've got the manual for it now. The servo is actually underneath, so we'll take the bottom cover off in a minute. Interesting space for another board there, but it hasn't got any pins or sockets. So that's interesting. You have to put a socket in before you can put the board in. These I believe they actually lift up. So you sort of unclip them with a screwdriver. Yeah. That felt a bit horrible because of old plastics. And then I guess you can just lift out the boards. So that's quite nifty. So yeah, also looking in the manual, it suggests it's for industrial and educational use. So obviously for editing videos to make final sort of VHS films or footage or whatever. So yeah, that sort of goes some way to explaining what this machine is designed to do. So let's take the bottom cover off and have a look. Oh, I'll just check that head as well. Some machines, Panasonic machines, had a nasty habit of wearing out the audio control head, and you could feel like physical lines then where the tape had sort of acted like sandpaper almost and just worn down the head. But this is absolutely fine. I thought probably it would be, but it's worth a try. I will give it a clean. Would I give it a clean? No, I think let's take the bottom cover off, because I'm confident that that's good and clean. If we don't find anything, then we'll give it a clean and see if that works. So let's crack on. So bottoms off. I actually struggled a little bit because some of the screws, the machine's been scraped across something at some point that sort of sanded down the heads somewhat and filled them full of gunk. So they're a little bit tricky to get out, sort of 2 or 3 of them. So I'll replace those. You can see it had the option for feet, or probably did have feet at some point, and they've long since gone. So yeah, that's a bit of a shame. So this is the board in question. We've got like I suppose you could call that the motherboard, with everything plugging into it. Oh, mother circuit, there we go. Power detect circuit. Not sure what that does. Interesting. And then we've got syscon, but I believe we've also got servo, and yeah, it's looking a bit like a capstan driver chip. And I'm pretty confident that's where we're going to find, in fact I wonder if that's it, the control head ends up. Yeah, because just following the cable through from the top, it looks like it just dives down through here somewhere, sort of not far away from the loading lacing belt, or the lacing belt. So that's something, and have to be a bit careful. We've got ribbon cables. Yeah, no, that's fine. Oh, another board. That looks a bit more like, oh, real servo. Okay, so that's fine. And then we've got some nice chunky caps there. And some batteries, okay. And back up. So you can actually disconnect, like on some of the some Panasonic decks that use like the super capacitors. You can unplug a connector to isolate it so you can work on the board. And this one has a switch, so that's quite good. So let's switch that. Servo VR. So yeah, you can take the side off and adjust servo from there, which is quite cool without having to take the board off. So what do we reckon? Could be that one. Could be that one. I think it's going to be... I think one will be erase, one will be control, and then this is the audio. Yeah, I would say. So, I'm suspecting these little caps, and especially having done that Sony not so long ago, I'm sort of almost tempted to think it could be one of these. But, yeah, I probably need to have a look at the schematic now and work out exactly which is which and what does what. So, yeah, let's do that and see what we can find. So, I think we might have found the culprit. It's a 10 volt 47 microfarad capacitor. I don't know what brand that is actually, but that has definitely expired. Everything else seems to look fairly healthy, but I'm going to change that and yeah, just see if that makes a difference. I mean, I'd be interested to see where that is in the circuit, but it is very, very close to where I think the control head comes in. I still haven't checked yet, you know, but yeah, I need to check the circuit diagram really. But yeah, I'm going to whip that out anyway because I need to change it, and yeah, we'll take it from there. Let's crack on. Yeah, so that's pretty leaky. So yeah, we'll get that changed and take it from there. I had to be a bit careful, use the soldering gun and added a bit of solder. Somebody did mention on the previous video actually, add a bit of extra solder to help it sort of clean up, but yeah, which I do tend to do, but of course I sort of do these things and don't show them, and I never think to mention it. But yeah, it is a good tip. Also use liquid flux as well. That can really help the solder flow, and then you can suck it up nice and quick, or nice and cleanly. But yeah, you can see that's quite gunky on the board, so glad to get that one out. So anyway, I'll change it and then we'll have a look at the schematic. Let's crack on. Yeah, so M for match-seater, Panasonic. So I'm going to replace them with match-seater ones. So yes, I shall get and do that, and slightly higher spec, 16 volt, 105 degrees. So yeah, let's get that popped in. So that's installed. I'm very tempted just to flip this over and give it a try and just see. I mean, it'd be amazing if that's all it was. But yeah, let's give it a go. So I just tested that cap and it actually tests okay, but I have just cooked it. So the battery on my meter's gone flat. It's making crazy noises. Okay, but let's just give it a try. I mean, I've had so many difficult machines lately that have just taken so much effort to get up and running. Needed so many components. I would just love it to be just one capacitor. Change it and it works. So let's try it. Okay, so it's laced. Unlacing to go. Well, was it really as simple as that? I'm never lucky enough to find, oh, it's a leaky capacitor, change it and it'll work. Oh, that's unbelievable. Like I say, everything else looked fine, but I just know Panasonic kit well enough that chances are that they will be a visibly leaky cap. And yeah, let's just do a capture. So yeah, that's looking absolutely brilliant. So tracking, we haven't got the waving tracking anymore. That's actually really, really good. So furthest left, doesn't do bad. Furthest right, I haven't got the sound up, so only you can hear the sound. Oh, well, I've probably muted it by now, but that's really cool. Then pause. Brilliant. So this is a multi-head machine as well, and I believe this, the 7350, there's also the 7150, I think it is, I may be wrong. 7150 is more cut down and doesn't have quite so many chips on the head. One chip that's missing on the lower version in particular is the flying arrays head. So yeah, this, I mean, it sort of reminds me a little bit of the MVV8000, just in industrial form. Age-wise, I'm still not too sure how old this is. I still think it's sort of early 90s, maybe 93, 94 maybe. I don't know. Usually when I say 90, well, usually when I say a date, it's usually earlier. This is probably 92, but I would say it's about that time. And what a lovely machine! It's really, really nice. So yeah, I suppose we ought to have a look and just see where that capacitor actually is in the circuit, and then we can give this a bit of a run, and it can go back to Stuart's. But may well have a look at that, the lacing belt as well. It's the only belt in the machine, from what I can see on the manual. And yeah, we're all good to go. So yeah, let's crack on. So the control head comes into the syscon board down on P2001, and that comes through here to IC3AN3726K. And the capacitor that we found leaky was actually C42, which is the 10 volt 47 microfarad capacitor there. But yeah, this chip is basically dealing with control pulses and the distribution thereof said pulse. And test point 2007, you can actually see there the control pulses. So yeah, that's really, really cool. What's 2003 as well? That's the record. But yeah, it's all to do with control pulses. So obviously that capacitor broke things. And yeah, I'm really chuffed to have found that. It's nice to have a fairly straightforward one for a change. Let's crack on. Okay, so it's been running a while. It's absolutely solid. Really, really pleased with that. So my next question is, what are those batteries like? Let's just give those a quick check and test, and obviously I'll flick the switch back as well. But yeah, let's have a look. Okay, so the machine's still off, so let's just test these batteries. And 1, 3. They're actually pretty okay, aren't they? So let's flick that switch back on, and should be able to power it on. I think we're still plugged in. So let's just measure the voltage on them now. It's powered up. Yes, they're charging fine. Okay, well, I'll leave them in. They show no signs of leakage or anything, so I'm happy to leave them in, and you know, should be fine. Okay, well, I'll get the bottom cover back on, and I suppose we ought to have a look at that loading belt. Yeah, so I'll get and do that next. Okay, so bottom plate's back on, and let's just check this belt. Oh, it does feel a little bit on the worn side. Oh yeah. Well, it's not terrible, but I'm going to change it. It's just a bit dry. Like I say, it's not terrible. I wouldn't mind putting that back on, but it's soon going to start causing problems. So I'll see what I can find and take it from there. Let's crack on. Well, I found a good belt, so happy with that. It's a little bit tighter, but, well, you'd want that really. It seems to be absolutely fine. There's no excessive drive or anything on there, so I'm happy with that. It looked as if it wasn't quite plugged in right. So, yeah, let's give it a go. Yeah, it's fine.
Granada, tierra ensangrentada, entardece todo.
So yeah, really pleased to have found that, and nice to have something a bit more straightforward for a change. I'm happy to leave the power supply, to be honest. It does look as if the caps have been changed, at least some of them, so I'm happy with that. I do pick up a very slight noise from the bearings, but I think I'm going to run it for a while anyway. And yeah, they should hopefully settle down. We'll see how those go. Unfortunately, I haven't got any NTSC VHS cassettes that I can think of. Otherwise, I would have tried that. And I certainly haven't got any MESECAM either. So, yeah, I can't really try the other two formats. But, yeah, I would actually be quite interested just to try a long play cassette. So let's just try that. Okay, so let's press eject. And press play. What's laced? See what happens. Yeah. So I didn't think it would. You can see the counter there. Obviously going double rate, but yeah. I mean, it's playing it back quite well. There's a pause. You're obviously getting a noise bar. But yeah, so I didn't think it would play long play. Why would it? But I was intrigued to see what happened. So yeah. Interesting. But what a machine. What an absolutely wonderful machine. And really looking forward to giving Stuart the good news and returning it back to him once I've given it a good test, of course, and I'll give it a clean. But yeah, perfect, lovely. So with that, I hope you enjoyed this one. Like I say, nice that it was a bit more straightforward than usual, and hopefully I'll see you in another video. Bye for now.